Hello and welcome to Northern Ireland for round 3 of the 2015 FIA European Rally Championship, the first pure tarmac rally of the season. It's Easter. Of course, it's the Circuit of Ireland. And the rally is based here in the heart of Belfast at the former Harland and Wolff shipyards. Round 2 of the ERC was in snowy and icy Latvia early in February, remember that? Let's take a look at what happened. Alexei Lukyanuk from Belarus was leading the event after stage 1, and that lasted as far as an icy stage 2. He lies 4th in the championship despite this big one, 8 points behind Robert Consani. That short lead ended there. Kajtan Kotanovic went off the road on stage 5. He still leads the championship 2 rounds in. He's 5 points ahead of Ireland's Craig Breen, and he learned an awful lot in the icy, snowy Latvian conditions. Conditions he hopefully will not see again this Easter in Ulster. Fastest junior Emil Bergqvist in Latvia. He finished in 6th place overall in his Opel Adam R2. That's an astonishing effort, and perhaps the lack of traction didn't hinder him so much. An encouraging result finally for the junior championship newcomer, and he heads to Ireland as the championship leader in the juniors. And as for Ireland's Craig Breen in the 208 T16 that was so troublesome last year, he had a clean run at a great rally, a strong win. A minute 40 ahead of Sim Plani. There were 2 ERC 2 cars on the podium alongside Craig. He's 5 points behind Kaito in the championship after 2 rounds. So it's Kajtanovic, Breen and Consani, the top 3 as they head to Ireland. On the top 4, in fact, with Alexei Lukyanuk, are the only 4 that have done both rallies so far. As we head to Ulster, this spectacular, rugged countryside is an ideal playground for one of the world's oldest motorsport events. Circuit of Ireland was first run in 1931, and it has a massively rich history. And its headquarters in the Titanic Quarter of Belfast, a suitably historic base as well.
Obviously we had a good run last year, which was very important. Some of the stages are the same as we notes from last year, so it was just a matter of just being familiar with them. Okay, we haven't done a rally since Spain last year, but we're not really going to use that as an excuse. It's just a matter of getting in the 2 runs of qualifying, 2 runs of shakedown and 1 run of qualifying, and we should be back into the groove. Okay, there is the competition, the entry is an awful lot stronger this year, but no, we still have our sights set on hopefully where we finished last year will be a very good result for us. Even if it is a dry rally, it's still going to be quite a dirty rally, so tyre choice I think is going to be the big factor in this rally, with working compound with the muck and dirt and shiny tar and puddles and bits and pieces like that, so that's going to be very, very important, I think.
Something that the local drivers will have a lot of knowledge of. Robert finished 3rd on last year's circuit behind the Skodas of Espak Alapi and Sepp Wiegand, who are not here this year, and he's reunited with regular co-driver Damien Donnelly back in the car. Very quickly back on good form, they set the fastest time in qualifying. His Ford Fiesta R5 promises much, but he's up against another very strong contender, also Ford Fiesta R5 mounted, Kajtan Kajtanovic, the championship leader from Poland. He thinks that these stages are quite similar to some Polish rallies, feeling fairly comfortable even in these narrow, twisty Irish lanes. Second fastest in qualifying, his time 202.1 to 201.6, a bearable, just half a second in it. Well, he's got plenty of local competition. Just 5 points behind him in the championship is Craig Breen. After his win in Latvia, he'll be the local favourite. Mechanical failure forced him out of the event last year, and he's keen to put that disappointment behind him. An event that he's been watching since a child and has hungered for many years to try and win. He was 3rd fastest in qualifying, 202.9, 0.8 of a second behind Kajtanovic. Breen's new Peugeot Academy teammate, 26-year-old Frenchman Charles Martin, makes his ERC debut here in Ireland. It's his only 2nd ever event in a 4-wheel drive car, but he was impressive, 4th fastest, ahead of tied with more experienced compatriot Robert Consani. Fourth fastest, tied with Robert Consani, and just 1.7 seconds off the flying Irishman, Robert Barrable. See a lot more Irish names in the lead order as well. This Circuit of Ireland rally is still such a massive draw for North and South. Well, plenty of activity despite a little bit of Easter softness in the weather in downtown Belfast, the autograph session and the starting order ceremony. No surprises as far as the pitting order went. Starting position same as in the qualifying stage results, and that means that Robert Barrable, fastest on the qualifying stage, the first to choose, and he's going to go start number one.
He's got his coat on and everything, he's very prepared.
Kaito Kotanovic, second fastest on the qualifying stage, and he chooses to go second on the road. Craig Breen, third in qualifying, he goes third. No major surprises here at all. Robert Consani, fourth place, and he'll go fourth on the road. And Mata, he tied the time, so he is officially fifth. He'll go fifth. Lukanyuk, 12th fastest, he takes 12th spot. So Robert Barrable is the man who will open the road on stage one of the Circuit of Ireland. Will it be wet? Will it be dry? Probably yes, both. The ERC priority drivers have chosen their road position, but what about tyre choice for leg one? That's something that will be haunting them throughout the event, not just because here the weather can change in a heartbeat. Well, let's talk tyres with the master, Craig Breen.
Hi, welcome to the Circuit of Ireland, our first pure asphalt rally of the season, and I'm going to go through with you some of the fantastic compounds of tyres that Michelin have given to us to use this weekend. Here on the left side, we have on my left side, it's the 01 tyre. This is the softest compound tyre we have. It's for cold temperatures and wet roads. I think this weekend the strange Irish temperatures will actually be a little bit too high for this one, so we won't use this too often. Moving on, we have a slightly harder tyre. This is the 11 compound. In full rain conditions, we have to drive with this slick tyre. But as you can see, these two channels here, they remove a lot of the water. And finally, we have the 21 tyre. This is for the strange case we have a lot of sun here in Ireland, and this is for use on pure dry roads. One of the biggest challenges this weekend will be calling the tyre choice, in some cases hours before we arrive to the stages. And if you get a wrong choice, for example, using the hard compound 21 tyre when it's rain condition, it could really change the rally. You could lose, you know, up to minutes in stages if you call it wrong. And on the plus side, if you call it right and you know, catch a rainstorm with the right choice, you can gain a lot of time. So it's a tricky one.
It was ever thus in Irish rallying, not just the roads that are difficult. So the ceremonial start taking place at City Hall, Belfast, and lots gathered to attend the event. Alistair Fisher, Bertie Fisher's son, joining Craig Breen, Barrable, McCormack, and the rest of the visitors. So, programme for leg one tomorrow. They start off Bucks Head, Hamilton's Folly, Lochhenny, into service at Belfast at lunchtime in the afternoon, back through the stages of the morning. It's the afternoon. He opted to go first on the road, reckoning that he would get the cleanest conditions. Championships top two, Kaito Kotanovic and Craig Breen took start numbers 2 and 3. 8 stages today, 2 runs of Hamilton's Folly, the longest test on the event. So on board, Robert Barrable trying to work some heat into the tyres. You can see just how wet and narrow these lanes are. At the moment, little mud dragged on from the banks, but Barrable reckons that will change.
Right, 2, 3, 2, 1, go. 6 left, 60. 3 right plus, okay. 40. Crest, 4 left, continues. 60. Crest, 6 right, tightens.
First man on the road on racing slicks like everybody else. It is wet and muddy in patches.
Then slowing, 4 right, continues.
Barrable determined to use his advantage of being first on the road. No clearing the loose gravel for your rivals, of course, on a tarmac stage. We had a bizarre moment during the stage, as you can see there. The door window popped out. He set a time of 7 minutes 43.6 seconds. Second on the road, the championship leader. Bizarrely, although Kajtanovic has never competed on the circuit, his sister lives in Ireland. He's second on the road, first time on this event, and he's going to build himself up to speed, he says. Learning mode, not taking extra risks. He's 11.1 seconds slower than Robert Barrable, fifth fastest in an identical Ford Fiesta R5. So for the hometown hero, car number 1, Craig Breen, third on the road.
Watch 2 left minus half, long tight to 3 sharp, don't go wide, and crest into lake 4 right plus.
Playing with a problem yesterday, pop-off valve not functioning properly. Doesn't have 100% control of the power. 7.2 seconds slower than Barrable, who takes the lead of the rally after stage 1. Craig Breen in second place. More Irish drivers, Alistair Fisher and Sam Moffat, third and fourth fastest.
60, dip 50.
Look at the speed down these tiny country lanes. Plenty of commitment from Craig Breen in the Peugeot 208 T16. Car not doing what it should do. Under the watchful eye of St Patrick on a hill overlooking the villages of Saul and Rollob, where he returned to the country in the 5th century. Crews continue their mission through this stunning Ulster countryside to the start of stage 2. Hamilton's Folly and then Locheny. Well, let's ride on this classic stage, Hamilton's Folly, with Craig Breen. He used to spectate here as a child. Co-driver Scott Martin on the pace notes. Many jumps on this, including a legendary one, Bertie's jump. After a huge 1980s jump by Irish rallying legend, the late Bertie Fisher, Alistair's dad. Despite being slightly down on power with a dump valve problem, I'm not sure I'd want to be sitting alongside Craig Breen. Takes a braver man than that. Fastest on both stages. He finishes stage 3 as the rally leader.
I just, the sensation of driving on tarmac and flying a car on tarmac, and that's what we're doing. We're flying with a car on tarmac. In Finland, yeah, you do it on gravel, but see, on tarmac when you're flying, no better feeling than that. It's one thing ticked off the bucket list. I'm leading the Circuit of Ireland, so.
Middle over jump, 100.
Maximum attack 2 from Robert Barrable. Small mistake at a square right junction on stage 2. Cost him about 9 seconds in the battle with Craig Breen. Still struggling with that missing driver's window. At these speeds, the wind and the rain are definitely distracting. Affecting the concentration on lanes like these is not great news. I guess there's an aerodynamic rub-off as well. And there's the mistake that costs him the time. He drops to second spot behind Craig Breen. Start of stage 3 with championship leader Kajtanovic in his Ford Fiesta R5. Fast left and just about gets away with that. It's going to cost him time. By the time he's facing the right direction again, he's 20 seconds down. He drops to 6th overall. Robert Consigny, after a long while at Peugeot, is getting used to his DS3. This is his 3rd time on the circuit, and he has a big high-speed moment on stage 2. Yeah, thumbs up from co-driver Maxime Villemot. Well held, young man. Despite that scare, he's 3rd quickest on both stages to move to 3rd overall, as 26-year-old nephew of late Northern Irish rally legend Bertie Fisher, Alistair Fisher, has a big one. Rolls in stage 3, they're okay, but retires from leg 1. Craig Breen then leading by 6.1 stages as they head back into service. Robert Barrable in 2nd, Robert Consigny in 3rd place. Lots of green, white and gold on the leaderboard. Kajtanovic in 6th, half a minute behind. Well, the first day started for the juniors like everybody else with a windy morning and some rain. And that meant the Irish lanes would be highly slippery. This is Emil Bergqvist, the Swede in his Opel Adam R2, leader of the championship after round 1 in Latvia. He was fast on tarmac as well. Marion Griebel, the official Opel Motorsports team, working hard this weekend. 4 drivers separated by only 8 seconds, battling for the top 5 this morning. And this Opel in 5th position, fast and consistent. Alex Zawada of Poland, 2nd fastest on stage 2 and 3. Another Opel Adam in the top 5, 4th overall, just 0.6 of a second off a podium position. New colours on the 208 R2 for the home rally, and Chris Ingram, he chose the GTI style, celebrating 30 years of the Peugeot 205 GTI last year. Chris Ingram, the youngest driver to win the Colin McRae Trophy here last year. John Armstrong, uncatchable in Loop 1, the Ulsterman fastest on stage 2 and 3 with a 19-second advantage after rival Ingram admitted he was a little too cautious during the day on the first group of stages. Trouble for Bucks, damaged wheel, putting him out on day 1. This is his first year in the second year in the championship for Gino Bucks. 5 kilometers from the end of the stage, they were out. Steve Rookland moved into the top 5 after stage 5. He benefited from Zawada's bad luck, the pole forced to retire after a crash on the stage. Emil Bergqvist, maybe the most complete driver in the championship, solid 2nd. Championship leader being smart, but a perfect day for local driver John Armstrong, winner of 5 of the 8 stages on day 1, leading by 28.4 seconds. So John Armstrong leading, Bergqvist the championship leader in 2nd place, Chris Ingram just off the podium. Northern Ireland scenery proving highly dramatic on the stages and picturesque of it. This 18th century mansion, Mount Stuart, was the home of Lord Castlereagh, the Foreign Secretary of Great Britain during the Napoleonic Wars. Famous for its extravagant furnishings and beautiful grounds, ranked as one of the top 10 gardens in the world. It's in Newton Ards, where leg 1 of the rally will conclude after the break. Welcome back to Northern Ireland. Round 3 of the 2015 European Rally Championship is the legendary Circuit of Ireland. It dates back to 1931, but the backdrop is much older. These monastic ruins, founded in the 12th century in Chabby, was a Cistercian monastery set beside the River Coyle, the river which feeds Strangford Lough, the largest sea loch in the British Isles and one of the most important marine conservation sites in Europe. As they head out to stages 4 and 5, second run through Bucks Head and Hamilton's Folly. The road's now much drier. Maximum attack then from the first man on the road, Robert Barrable, to try and catch rally leader Craig Breen. Goes fastest in stage 4. Struggled in the last 4 corners of stage 5, which he likened to sheet ice. And 3rd fastest there. Championship leader Kajtanovic, second fastest on both stage 4 and 5. Clearly he is bedding himself in well now that the roads are a little drier. First time in Ireland, in a rally at least, and producing good speed in the Ford Fiesta R5, up to third place after the very demanding and jump-laden Hamilton's Folly. Rally leader Craig Breen reporting having a recurrence of his dump valve issues. 4.9 seconds slower than Robert Barrable in stage 4, 9.2 slower in stage 5. That leaves him with 10.4 seconds of his lead intact. Robert Consigny was third overall in the DS3, but drama on stage 4. He comes to the end of it with only first and second gear responding in the gearbox. And that puts an end to his efforts. Second gear not really enough on these ultra high speed Irish lanes. As for Josh Moffat, Irishman in the Ford Fiesta S2000 car, 8th on the road. He's 6th fastest through stage 4 and 3rd fastest through stage 5, Hamilton's Folly 2. Battling hard with his brother Sam for 4th place overall, both of them in Super 2000 Fiestas. Well, Ireland, once the home of almost every WRC car ever built, is now home to lots of Super 2000s. Heading into stage 6 then, Lochhenny, the second run through this 10.5 kilometre stage. Robert Barrable, 6 minutes, 0.3 seconds. Good stage for him. Piling the pressure on rally leader Craig Breen, hoping to bring down the lead in further increments. You can see still water on the road, mud on the road as well from the previous run of the tail enders going through. Kajtanovic inside the 6 minute mark, 5:58.1, 2.2 seconds quicker than Barrable. He sets the first fastest time of his rally. Kajta doing a great job on these tricky roads. He said that it feels similar to some Polish rallies. So we need to get some Polish tarmac rallying in. Craig Breen, 5:59.8 between his two rivals, 1.7 seconds behind Kajtanovic. Half a second quicker than Barrable. Pulls his lead out from 10.4 to 10.9. And then the two runs through Newtonards. This spectator special, 1.53 kilometers. This is Alexei Lukanyuk of Russia in his Ford Fiesta. This is named the TT stage after the famous Ards Tourist Trophy race run in the 1930s. The Russian wins both passes through the stage. Craig Breen, with front diff problems and a turbo, leads by 1 second after the end of the day.
No problems. Today's been a good day, not so bad.
Nearly 20 seconds of lead went west. Robert Barrable, 4th quickest on both passes. He is a second behind overnight.
But no, we're really happy with today. I think we have a lot of positives to take from it, and it's just a matter of going home having a good night's sleep now, because tomorrow's going to be a long day, and it's all going to be very, very dependent on weather.
He also had a bit of a vibration in the car that the team need to look at. Second and third fastest on the stages. Kajtanovic finishes the day in third, the only non-Irishman in the top 5.
It's a perfect day. It's good for the experience. I had a small mistake today, but in general, I'm really happy.
So he should be. Only a second separates the leaders at the end of leg 1. Saturday in Ulster is going to be titanic between Breen, Barrable, and who knows, maybe Kajtanovic as well, as he brings himself into the fray. And the rest of the Irish drivers battling for the scraps from the table. Well, 10 stages on the card for tomorrow, 128 kilometres of tough, ridged, bouncy Irish tarmac to decide the 2015 Circuit of Ireland winner. They kick off at 9:14 a.m. tomorrow local time. And that's it then for leg 1 of the Circuit of Ireland. Join us tomorrow for everything that happens in day 2, the final day of the Circuit of Ireland Rally 2015. Hello and welcome to Northern Ireland for the third round of the 2015 FIA European Rally Championship, the first all-tarmac event of the season. It's Easter, it's the classic Circuit of Ireland. Well, Northern Ireland is a land steeped in natural beauty, surrounded by green hills and sea. The largest city in Northern Ireland, Belfast, is famous as the birthplace of the RMS Titanic. Titanic Belfast, this building, is the world's largest Titanic visitor experience and a must-see visit in any tour of Belfast and Northern Ireland. It's located in Titanic Quarter, right beside the historic site of this world-famous ship's construction. Housed in this iconic 6th-floor building, the state-of-the-art visitor experience tells the story of the Titanic from her conception in Belfast in the early 1900s, through her construction and launch into her tragic maiden voyage. Before we get into the second and final day of the Circuit of Ireland, let's take a look at what happened on day 1. 26-year-old nephew of late Northern Ireland rally legend Bertie Fisher, Alistair Fisher, had a big crash on stage 3. He and his co-driver were A-OK, but the car was out on day 1. Robert Consani, his first time out in the Citroën DS3 R5, he retired at the end of stage 4 with a broken gearbox from what was a fine third place. Kajtanovic, the championship leader, despite this little overshoot and brush with the bank, finished the day in third spot, the only non-Irish driver in the top 5.
Square right, don't cut.
Robert Barrable ended leg 1 in second place, 1 second off the leader. Happy to be challenging up front. His overshoot at a square left cost him 9 seconds on what was a bit of a damp and dreek day on the stages. And it was a great battle for the lead with Ireland's Craig Breen. Front diff problem and a turbo dump valve issue costly for Breen. He dropped nearly 10 seconds over stages 7 and 8. He still ended the day as the rally leader by that single second over Robert Barrable. Behind the leaders, brothers Josh and Sam Moffat battling for 4th position. Lots more Irish talent in the modern cars and in the historic rally. Titanic Belfast is home to the service park for the European Rally Championship, where the teams make final preparations before the rally stages. Saturday morning dawns over Belfast and the crews have a big day in front of them. 10 stages, all on bumpy, fast tarmac, and this includes the dauntingly long McGaffin's Corner stage, runners 10 and 16, which at 26 kilometres is the longest on the event. Lots of classic Irish stages for day 2 of this circuit. Craig Breen, the event leader, will start 10th on the road, ahead of Robert Barrable and Kajtan Kajtanovic, then the Moffat brothers. There'll be 4 stages out before service back in Belfast. Kajtan Kajtanovic 8th on the road. The pole gets ready to start day 2, round 3 of the event in his Ford Fiesta R5. A little bit of support even here. He made a small mistake on stage 10, McGaffin's Corner. 3rd overall, behind the All-Irish battle for the lead. Robert Barrable just 1 second behind at the start of leg 2. Ford Fiesta R5 in 3rd place, Ford Fiesta R5 in 2nd place, chasing Craig Breen's Peugeot 208. 9th on the road, he went 2nd fastest on stage 9, 3rd fastest through stage 10. Would that be enough to chase down and overhaul Breen? Rally leader, 10th on the road, following Robert Barrable through the stages, pushing very hard indeed to try and make up for the mechanical problems of day 1. He struggled on stage 9 though, only 8th fastest, but went quickest on stage 10, the longest of the whole rally. The net result though, he dropped to 2nd, half a second behind Robert Barrable. Classic Irish rally territory. This is Stephen Wright of Ireland, stage 10. His Ford Fiesta R5. Some of these lanes so narrow they don't even earn the name lane. He gets a little wide in a fast left, a fast right, hits the tree on the left-hand side. He was 7th overall, but his rally ended in the woods. Robert Barrable then with a 1.2 second lead after 10 stages of the Circuit of Ireland over Craig Breen. Kajtanovic in 3rd ahead of the Moffat brothers. Younger brother Josh still holding the advantage over Sam Moffat. Battle between Breen and Barrable, fantastic. So too is the scenery in Northern Ireland. This is Scarborough Tower, one of Northern Ireland's best known landmarks, overlooking Strandford Lough and the whole of North Down. The tower provides visitors with some of the finest views in the country. And then Drum's a fine example of an island monastery, founded in the 5th century, making it one of the earliest known monastic sites in Ireland. History at every turn, and more about to be made in the circuit as it reaches its conclusion. Welcome back to the Circuit of Ireland, round 3 of the European Rally Championship for 2015, where the stage is set for an excellent battle to the finish. The leaderboard is dominated by Irish drivers making the most of their knowledge of these fast, bumpy tarmac roads. Robert Barrable leads by 1.2 seconds over Craig Breen as they have finished 10 of the stages. Heading now out to Banbridge and Gregor Lock. Shiny tarmac in Banbridge and Gregor Lock dirty and greasy. This is Ewan Thorburn, current Scottish rally champion in his Ford Fiesta, had a little overshoot on stage 11. Struggling with stiff power steering, not ideal on these narrow lanes, finishes stage 12 in 7th spot. Sam Moffat in his Ford Fiesta had a big moment dropping into a ditch on stage 11, unhappy with his driving, finishes in 5th place on stage 12. Very impressive drive by the younger Moffat brother Josh. He won the production class on this event last year, finishes stage 14, stage 12 rather, in 4th place, 46 seconds behind the leaders. And as for Poland's Kajtan Kajtanovic, pushing very hard indeed. Little mistake at this junction, drops about 8 seconds, still in the battle for victory.
I'm pushing very hard, believe me. Look, my hands are shaking. We'll see. We want to try to win this rally, but
he's only 13 seconds behind this titanic battle for the lead. Craig Breen has lost the lead last stage. Very quick though through stage 11, going fastest to retake the lead despite a slight moment.
Yeah, it's good. If I can get this sorted, I know I'm away. That's the problem, you know. It's just a case of driving the dung out of it, and I hope that the guys can find a solution in service. Like, you'll see it on the onboard. It just coming out of the corners. I have my hand like this just to try and egg the car on, and what can I say? I'm trying my best.
Well, the intermittent problem isn't helping in the battle with Robert Barrable. Barrable's worried though he's made too conservative a tyre choice. It's warmer and drier than he'd expected. He's on a softer compound than he would like, but he's on a big push. Retakes the lead on stage 12.
Yeah, it was really good. Craig took 2 or 3 off us on the Banbridge stage, so I think it's not much in it, but I was surprised to take a bit of time off Kajtanovic. He's on a little bit of a harder tyre, but maybe my tyre worked better in there, but it's very dirty and greasy. It's just very hard to commit to the corners when you can see the muck in the middle of them. I think the next pass is going to be very, very slippy.
More cars means more muck dragged into the road. Robert Barrable with a near 2-second lead over Craig Breen. Kajtanovic definitely not out of the hunt. And what about the Moffat brothers? They might profit if something goes wrong at the top of the pile. Separated by a tiny margin, the leaders return for the last service of the event. Harder tyres for Robert Barrable. Peugeot engineers will have 30 minutes to fix the problem with Craig Breen's car.
Yeah, well, we're leading by 2.1 seconds. We're 3 seconds quicker than Craig over the morning loop, which is 60 odd K, so I think it's going to be a nail-biting finish. I'd like.
Nothing can stand in my way today. I just want this so bad. I put everything in my heart and soul to try and win this rally, so I really want it. It's just a little gremlin, and I'm hoping now that they've found it. They're really working their asses off to find out what the problem is. Sounds good.
As the leaders head out onto the final loop, let's catch up first with the ERC juniors and see what's been happening in their battle. The second round of the junior ERC, the young drivers learned all about the bumpy roads of Northern Ireland. All under 25 years old, some are future stars, some already are, like Chris Ingram and the Opel drivers Marian Griebel and Emil Bergqvist. The big surprise of day one was John Armstrong in the Peugeot. Led the first day by 29 seconds, but the happiness didn't last long when he received a penalty.
We got a time penalty yesterday evening. We missed a tyre check control, which unfortunately gave us a 5-minute penalty. So It was a big shame, but we also developed a problem with the car. We didn't want to do any more damage to the car mechanically, so we decided to retire.
Armstrong's day one performance was very impressive. Unfortunately, that error with the timing and the problem with the car cost him a chance to compete. Youngest driver to win the Colin McRae Trophy here last year was Chris Ingram, and he wants to take advantage of his experience on tarmac.
The first rally went well and we scored some good backup points, but here it's a different kettle of fish. It's my favourite surface, tarmac. When I started the ERC Juniors last year, I was the youngest guy, 19 years old. And since then, I've kept working hard and become the Peugeot UK driver for this season, which is a dream come true. And it just shows if you work hard. ERC Juniors helped me with this opportunity. Of course, I'd always like to fight for the win on an event like this because the prestige and heritage is awesome for this event.
Let's have a good run. Yeah, good run.
But the championship's really important to me, so I've got to keep it consistent throughout. But a podium is definitely what we need.
Go, Max to left of a crest, Alpha.
Well, Chris, with French co-driver Gamin Moreau pushed hard on leg 2. They won 2 stages in the morning, stage 9 and 10, still in 3rd place overall. And he'll have an afternoon-long battle to overhaul the 2 Opels in front of him.
The championship was dominated by Peugeots, but now Opel have come into it, which is great for the championship, and they're pushing their drivers really hard, testing a lot. So hopefully we can keep them behind us.
So what about those Opel drivers? Well, here's one, Marian Griebel of Germany, just in front of Ingram. He won stage 12. Griebel battling for the lead, just 8 seconds behind his teammate. With the support of Opel Motorsport, the 2 leaders have the same cars and the same ability to win. This is Emil Bergqvist then. After winning the Opel Adam Cup last year in Germany, Bergqvist already has tarmac experience, and he impressed so far with his ability to go as fast on tarmac as he did on snow in Latvia. He's leading the junior category, but it's not going to be any easy victory. More than 1 minute and 45 behind the leader, Steve Rockland, 4th overall in the Peugeot 208, 2nd in Latvia on the snow. He's learning on tarmac, but made mistakes on day 1. He feels better today.
A lot better confidence and feeling with the car with the new setup and a lot more kilometers into the car on tarmac, so yeah, it's feeling great.
This is Vasily Gryatsin. He's been very consistent, 5th place all day. Takes advantage of the Norwegian Rockland's accident in the last stage to finish in 4th overall. SRT putting 2 drivers in the top 5. Only his 2nd rally on tarmac, Ralf Simakis had an encouraging 5th place on the Circuit of Ireland rally for the Latvian team. Before the final stages, Opel Motorsport had 2 men battling for victory. Germany's Marian Griebel gave his best until the end. He was fastest on stage 15 and last stage of the day, stage 18. Unfortunately, not quite quick enough. He was 2nd behind Emil Bergqvist and Joachim Sjöberg, his Swedish co-driver. Fastest on 4 of the 6 stages of the afternoon. He was triumphant in Ireland.
It was a really great weekend for us. Thanks to my team, Opel Motorsport, and my co-driver, and yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm so pleased.
Sweden's Emil Bergqvist claims his 2nd consecutive win in the ERC Junior Championship. Marian Griebel claiming 2nd, Chris Ingram on the podium in 3rd. Two Opel drivers and Ingram celebrating their podium finishes, and after his 2nd win in a row, Emil Bergqvist increases his lead in the Junior ERC Championship. The chase continues in June at the Sata Rally Azores. The village of Hillsborough lies en route between service and the Banbridge stages. A chance to sample Hillsborough Castle, perhaps, and its grounds. This late Georgian mansion, built in the 1770s by Wills Hill, the first Marquis of Downshire. Today it's a working royal palace, functioning as the official residence of the royal family when they're in Northern Ireland, set in 98 acres of stunningly beautiful gardens. It is a real jewel in the Northern Ireland countryside. Welcome back to the Circuit of Ireland 2015, where the battle for victory is tight as anything as we head into the final loop of stages. We have two Irish drivers battling for supremacy. Robert Barrable, 1.8 seconds in his Fiesta R5, ahead of Craig Breen's Peugeot 205 T16. Kaito Katanovic, the championship leader, lies third, ahead of Josh and Sam Moffat, the battling Irish brothers. Stage 13 and 14, Lisbon 1 and 2, a spectator special, 1.1 kilometres, then 13 k's of Bullsbrook, and then McGaffin's Corner. Craig Breen's new teammate to the Peugeot Rally Academy is 25-year-old Frenchman Charles Martin. He started his 4-round campaign here, his first visit to the Circuit of Ireland on his second rally in the 208 T16. He looks consistent on these fast, bumpy roads, improved his speed and his confidence through leg 2 to end an impressive 5th place overall. In front of him, part of the strong Irish contingent at the sharp end of this year's Circuit of Ireland. Two teammates, two brothers indeed. Sam Moffat wasn't overly happy with his driving this morning. He thought he was underplaying his hand a little. He improved his pace this afternoon with co-driver Carl Atkinson. Solid drive to 4th by the end of stage 16. 22-year-old Josh is quicker than his older brother on the long stage, McGaffin's Corner, by 3.5 seconds. But his tyres perhaps getting a little too hot. Otherwise, no major issues to go with his speed. And this is an impressive start to his 2015 ERC campaign, closing in on the podium positions by the end of stage 16. And they're held by, well, Kaito Katanovic. His second pass through Bullsbrook was even harder, heavily reliant on co-driver Jaroslav Baron's pace notes. But the Fiesta driver enjoyed his second pass through stage 16, keeping the pressure on the leaders. He's wise enough to know that they're both flat out and mistakes are easy to make. The battle for the rally win remains relentless. Robert Barrable's Fiesta going into stage 16 with a lead of only 1.1 seconds, really pushing.
6 right, into 5 left, continues, 40, 1 left, 2 right, 1 left, 2 right, right, Hammock, keep on.
Disaster for Barrable as he overshoots, gets the notes completely wrong, ditches the Fiesta. Craig Breen, meanwhile, his engine problem fixed after the short spectator stages 13 and 14. Described the battle on 15 and 16 as going back out into the jungle. Just 0.2 of a second quicker than Robert Barrable on stage 15, but by the time he gets to the end of 16, he's already passed Barrable's car and knows that he is the rally leader, with Katanovic 19.8 seconds behind. Josh Moffat now in a podium position in third, 37 seconds ahead of his brother. Well, in the ERC2 class, Russian model turn rally driver Inessa Tushkanova getting used to her new Evo 10 here in Ireland, but this high-speed 5th gear crash ends her rally on stage 11. She and co-driver Dmitry Chamuk were both okay, but their rally definitely over. Christian Hideg of Hungary described the stages as mad roads, but seemed to be enjoying them nevertheless. 7 class stage wins, led the rally from stage 1, almost lost it with major brake problems on the final loop, but came safely home to win it ahead of Wojciech Staff of the Czech Republic in his Subaru. First visit to the circuit, 41-year-old Czech fought hard, but puncture and damaged wheel on leg 1 left him behind with work to do. He finished with 3 stage wins in class on leg 2 in second place, ahead of David Botka in his Evo 9. The 30-year-old Hungarian arrived as the ERC2 championship leader, solid all weekend, increasing his pace and finishing in 3rd place overall. He was 2 minutes and change behind the leader, and Staff taking the lead of the championship. Well, back to the top of the order for the final stages, a second run through Bangbridge and Gregor Lock. Will Craig Breen's luck hold out? Will he get to win an event that he has watched since he was a wee lad on his father's shoulders? Only one way to find out. Charles Martin behind the battling brothers in 5th position. First time on these bumpy, fast, narrow Irish roads, which takes so much getting used to in the 208 T16. He's learned a lot, made no major mistakes, and kept the car in one piece. Well, Sam Moffat's had a cracking battle with his brother Josh, but playing it too conservative in the morning has cost him a chance to be the top dog in the family pecking order. He'll finish in 4th overall in his Fiesta RRC, but Josh, who came here hoping for a top 10, ends up on the podium in 3rd position, 41.8 seconds ahead of his brother Sam, which is perhaps almost more important. Josh Moffat's experience and speed paying off here. Speed certainly we know Kajtanovic has got, but Kajtan coming to Ireland for the first time with no experience. Been pushing very hard on day 2 after betting himself in safely on day 1. Scores big championship points. Arriving at the end of stage 18, he knows he'll be at least 2nd. But could even a win come his way? There's only one way to find out.
For the drivers, this rally was absolutely amazing, but for Jarek, for co-driver, it's very difficult for the body, for the mind, but we are happy.
That's the smile that Irish stages bring to the face, and an even bigger smile on the face of Craig Breen. He brings the car eventually to an incredible finish. Big off on stage 17, almost cost him everything. But somehow he got away with it. After Barable went off on stage 16, he almost gifted Kajtanovic the circuit. He was 5 seconds ahead before the final stage, managed to continue to the end of stage 18, but on the very last stage, overshot and stalled the engine twice before arriving at the end of the stage to claim victory, his 2nd win of the season.
I'm speechless. We had an overshoot in this, we had a spin obviously, as you can see on the previous one. We had an overshoot in this one, stalled the engine twice. And you see that chap there, he just said believe. He said don't stop believing, and it was the best 4.5 or 5 miles from there to the end of the stage. I have nothing left in my body. I've put everything I've got into this weekend.
It's fully sorted.
The heart, the soul, the emotion, and finally victory on the circuit of Ireland for Craig Breen and Scott Martin. Kajtanovic in 2nd place, and Josh Moffat rounds out the podium in 3rd. So a dream comes true for Craig Breen. He's been watching it all his life now. His name adds to the many, many illustrious former winners of the Circuit of Ireland. 3rd win in the ERC for Breen and co-driver Scott Martin. He takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship and of the Tarmac Masters, which comprises the Circuit, Ypres, the Barham Rally and Rally du Valais. So Craig Breen 3 points ahead of Kajtanovic. Next time out will be in the Azores. Meanwhile, the Colin McRae Flat-Out Trophy awarded to ERC junior driver John Armstrong, despite his 5-minute penalty for a rule infringement yesterday. Speed more than earned him the trophy. Congratulations indeed to another flying driver. Full commitment required as ever on the Circuit of Ireland. You don't win this one by chance. Congratulations then to our winners. That's it for round 3 of the European Rally Championship 2015, the Circuit of Ireland. Next time out on gravel in the Azores in Portugal in the beginning of June. Thanks to all our ERC TV crew in Ulster, and our best wishes for a speedy recovery go to our colleague Peter Baird. Peter, we miss you.